Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Femme Force podcast. My name is Rachael Paskman, and I am your host. And today I'm so excited that I am joined by my new friend Rupali because we are about to talk about the subject that's on everybody's minds, especially as we're in 2026, and that is AI. So Rupali is a global digital transformation leader, and she has deep experience driving AI, data, and cloud strategy across complex organizations. And right now, when the topic on everyone's mind is AI, how are we going to utilize it? What's going to happen to our jobs? And how can we use it to keep our jobs or grow in our own careers and embrace it as the world is changing around us? I think this is going to be such an amazing conversation to have. So thank you so much for being here, Rupali. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachael. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm excited for this conversation.
So tell the audience just, a little bit about yourself and how you got into AI. I mean, I know it's new age for so many now, but it's not like AI just happened last week.
Sure. So I would describe my work as I'm an executive leader grounded in strategy, innovation, and execution. So I drive global transformation to produce multi-million-dollar revenue growth, accelerate delivery, reduce operation cost, and elevate customer satisfaction. So in a nutshell, how it looks like is I'm partnering with C-suite to turn the vision into actionable enterprise strategy by aligning AI, data, technology, and human systems. And from there, I lead the global teams to remove the friction and ensure strategy is delivered with speed and discipline. So my expertise is not only just on a vision, but also driving it to execution. To answer your question, how I came about AI is my goal and my experience is around the innovation and creative solutions. And that's where the AI comes into the picture. And AI is a one-fold. A lot of time it involves the infrastructure, it involves the data, it involves the cloud and other technologies to embrace with. And then how it applies into different industries, because I've worked into multiple industries. So how it works into real estate, how it works into healthcare, how it works into finance. That's where strategy mixed with execution is where my strength lies in.
Well, and you're working with people too. So it's not like you're working just with the AI itself. And I think that's something that all of us are kind of wondering, how do you bring in AI to have those strategic ideas, or how should we be utilizing it? And I think, especially from your point of view, this is going to be really interesting to talk about, because how do you describe your work to someone who has no idea how to use AI or hasn't embraced it or hasn't even logged on to ChatGPT, for an example?
Oh, wow. That's, I feel like to inscribe everybody that AI is going to be something like internet for us right now. Everybody has been using internet. Use some form of internet versions you will be using in your day-to-day personal life and in your professional lives. That's how the AI going to be in maybe 5 years and maybe 7 years. This is the stage it's going to be part of our day-to-day life. A personal, professional, and the way we work with them is using AI speed, their processing power to improve our efficiency so that I can focus that time into something which is more meaningful. For example, if you are having in a meeting and if you are taking constantly a meeting notes and your energy is into the meeting notes and taking what's happening and what are the action items looks like, you lose your focus on what actually happening in the meeting, paying attention to the people, what Rachael is trying to tell me by her body language, which she might not have spoken with her words. I could pay attention to you. I can ask those meaningful questions because now I'm processing your data. So now AI is taking your administrative task of taking notes, making meaningful action items for you. You focus on actually what's been talked during the meeting, what your own perspective is. You can share it very visibly. And then you can see where this conversation is going. So that's one of the example I would say it's very easy for anyone who is in any profession. It does not have to be completely in technology-driven world, but we all are part of meetings in different kind of the world. And this will help us. There's one of the example I can share it so that everybody can understand what AI can help you.
No, I love that. And I mean, it is something that I think you're either going to have to get on the train or the train's leaving the station without you kind of thing, which it can be so scary for so many people. And there's so many anomalies that we're going to get into on like why people are so fearful of this kind of technology. But for the good of what it's doing, it's automating, it's streamlining your life, and it's giving you that time back. And I think especially for women today, like that's something that is going to help them so much because I mean, I'm a career girl, but between a job, having this side hustle and getting my second master's, like having a social life, having a boyfriend, being a daughter, doing all the things, I wouldn't be able to do Femme Force if it wasn't for AI. Like I wouldn't be able to do it without having the automation and having those things easier. And I think especially for working moms, like this has to take off so much out of your plate. Like I mean, one of my girlfriends said she used it for Elf on the Shelf ideas. She's like, I don't have time to scour Pinterest and be like, oh, that's cute. Let me click. And then I've got to go onto the website to see how the mom read her blog, and which is phenomenal. She's like, but I don't personally have time. She's like, so I was like, this is easy. I will only go to the store once to get supplies for this stupid project I have to do for 30 days. Please give me an idea of what I should do and like with like one run, and this is my budget amount, and how do I do this? I want something for each day, step by step. And she's like, do you have any? She's like, just the brain power that I didn't have to do that. And I was like, great, check that off every night. Directions if my husband had to do it. She's like, it was phenomenal. And that's just one such small example, I think, of like how working moms especially can utilize this.
Absolutely. There are so many examples of it. The agentic AI is going to be the future of it. You will have agents for everything. For me right now, I've been on using AI as a different agent. So for my marketing, I would use a marketing agent because I have worked with marketing team. I do have the strategy experience with them, but I'm not an expert in marketing, which is it's a different level of skills needed. So I have my marketing agent who helps me to how to do branding, how to promote my brand, how to do all that stuff. So it will be helpful to small businesses a lot in doing their marketing. You will have a financial agent, which helps me to do is like, okay, what does my P&L looks like? Am I keeping everything stack of it? Because it's a small business or a mid-sized business, you maintaining a lot of data of your financial information. Something which can look into all your financial data and says, hey, this belongs to your personal life and this belongs to the category of your professional life, and make it so that you can submit your tax, you can do your P&L very quickly. That's so much helpful when you are using agents for different sort of work. And now when you have that extra time, as you have talked about it, now I can focus actually on my products, how to improve my products, how to make it more available to my audiences. I have a marketing strategy agent. The agent will help me to see what are going to be my new targeted audience looks like. There's a shift in people's thinking happening. So rather than focusing on Gen Z, maybe I should be focusing on Generation Alpha. These kind of trends, data, which you will take tons of times and hours spent on it, AI will be able to give you so that you can know that, okay, they are leaning towards product, which is talking to them more emotionally. They are connecting at this level to my product. How can I enhance that story so I can have more sales? So there is so many ways we can leverage the AI. And I feel like the fear part is so true because I'm talking with so many leaders, so many people, I'm working in the organizations, and they are all worried about AI going to take the job, what will happen to the future of their life. So that fear-based is happening all around us.
And when you're working with your job and like you've been working with AI and you've been working in these strategic developments, did you ever think when you started your career in this and started within like the technology and everything that we were going to be already at AI in 2026 and at this stage of AI?
No, actually, I mean, for me, I never think like that way. For me, for me, it's a new challenge, it's new innovation, it's new technology. I'm always excited for it. I've worked on a technologies in healthcare side, but I've also worked on a gaming side. My first job was leading leading team in gaming organization. It was a mobile device gaming. I didn't have any educational background onto what is the gaming industry looks like. It was very new. We were working on this innovative products and launching the games with any kind of a movie release or any kind of product launch. It's very tight space. It was so fast. But that's the excites me. For me,
Yeah.
those challenges are exciting. It's going to be something new to learn, and I can see it, whether it's for me or not. Spending 3 years in there, I feel like, okay, this is not where I see myself growing into the career, but it was a fun experience. It was great to know about. And now I never think about when I play a game on a mobile devices that what the growth we have seen in that gaming industry. So for me, it's always the innovation is going to happen. Maybe it's kind of in the form of internet. It may be form of email. It may be form of AI. Now agentic AI, and next it's going to be quantum computing. So it's evolving. As we as a human are evolving, the technology is evolving. And for this is an exciting, how can I leverage this technology to make my life easier and also to help organizations so that they can achieve their goals?
And when you're utilizing this, how do you feel like this is helping people within a leadership structure? Is it just, it's not just giving them the free time, but I mean, you've said that it's helping with like their clarity and the intention, like when they're coming to decision making and things like that. So how does it help? Basically, you're working in those high stake environments. How does it influence you as a leader?
So it's twofold. So my experience right now working with leadership and with the team is it's not everybody is at forefront of AI. To be honest, the way the technology is moving fast, leadership and companies are not actually grabbing it to the level it has to be. Most of the people I talk with a lot is sticking with generative AI. I have actually worked with a startup who is working more on a machine learning, created an artificial hand, which helps people who are affected by paralysis and to have that movement done. So that's more on your machine learning side. But a lot of organization where I see more experience and usage of AI is happening is on a generative AI, where they are leveraging AI to do the faster processing of the data, making the data available in the format where decision can be made by the team in a faster level. The one example I can share with you is when I joined my nonprofit organization, where I'm a board of director of strategy and technology, the first thing was how to involve AI into the organization, because we were running into a lot of burning of people. They are all volunteers, they are employees, and all have a limited amount of time with the limited resources. And we wanted more time to be spending on the product which we have, which is our art content, which is our literature content by people who are affected by conflicts. So to focus on that, to focus on getting that message out to public, we needed more time. So my first experience was like how I use AI here so that we get the time back to work on actual work. There were people who were not very much happy or not one of the first people, if I want to work on AI. My thing to give it to them as a small example, showing them that how AI can meaningful change it without impacting their mission. Because I understand for nonprofit, their mission, their vision is so important. I did not want to touch anything to that. So one of the example was not to use AI on the data by our literature artists. That voice has to be authentic. It does not have to be spread in the world of AI, because there are AI communications happening between multiple systems, and I don't want that data to be any way corrupted. So there was strict policies that we are not leveraging AI on any of our voices. But instead of that, I focused AI on operation gain. So improve our complete organization structure to make it, which is work with our nonprofit, and then double the board members by hiring and using AI into hiring processes, writing a job descriptions, and making that process so better so that people are actually excited to work in an organization. So this is one of the way I would say one can use AI and keep the authenticity of your voice and authenticity of your mission intact.
So how do you help those organizations that are now, trying to utilize AI move from experimentation to like meaningful adaptation?
Yeah, one of the first step is, which I work a lot with leadership, is to move from mindset saying AI is the strategy. That's been a lot circulating around with, and that's the pattern I've been seeing with leaders. If your AI is that magic tool which is going to solve their problems. And that's the mindset I shift them from. AI is not a strategy. AI is part of strategy. Your strategy should be data driven, data insight driven, and then putting AI on top of it to get the gain or goals which you're trying to achieve. For example, I was working with an executive from financial company, and he was about to launch a product. His first question was, what would be the great marketing tool, AI tool I can use or you're leveraging and you can recommend so that I can launch this product much better? And my solution to him was step back. We need to look into your marketing strategy and then look into the products which can help you. So working with his team, I came to understanding that their previous campaign was failing because they were not targeting to the right audiences and right people. And that's where was the previous mile campaign got failed. So I directed them to create the insight and say, what is it looks like for your new targeted audiences? What is their persona is? What is the mindset? What they are liking about your product and would love to attract them to your product. Once you have that strategy, then look into the AI to help you gain that revenue growth and that people which you are attracted to. So that's the first step I take it from people working with leadership to change their mindset, because AI amplifies whatever you have it. So if your product and processes are failing and you put an AI on top of it, your failure would be bigger. If your processes are successful and if you have a great vision, then AI can innovate you to help you to gain that audiences, to gain that revenue growth. So for my first step to the people working on AI is to changing their mindset, because that's where the pattern lies in. Then we'll be working on how to create AI adoption, because as we have talked about it, that fear-based is so much everywhere. Everybody is fearful about AI. Employees are fearful, saying AI is going to take my job, so I should be resistant about AI. This is something which I never wanted to touch, or it can never going to be an expert as I am in my field. So there is a resistance on that level. While leadership feel like people are going to be exposing their private data into AI. So that means there is so much violation. Their data integrity would be in jeopardy, and also feel like people will expect every AI to be purchased, because it's not, you have to be within a budget. And we are currently in this environment where you have to submit your budget. So everybody's mindful about like how much I want to invest in. So my solution to them is in twofold. One is in governance and another is in the form of education. Governance is creating a committee of the leaders from each diverse teams, which will review all the proposal coming from the members. So anybody who wants to buy new AI product or thinks this company should be investing in needs to submit their use case with the risk associated with and what are the results we are going to be reaching and how much it's going to cost. So based on this information, then the committee make a decision. Is this a good solution? Is this something good for our company's bigger vision? And this way, leadership have insight into what they're investing into. They're making sure that everybody is using AI, which is under their security, not open to all. And in a way, it's helping people to innovate in a more fashion, in a governance fashion. The other one is in education, is creating an education model for people. So they are getting education on the things which is going to help them moving forward. There is so much information flowing around AI, which is creating more problematic because there are so many tools. Now, which one should I work on? How much time I should be spending? And you have to do AI learning along with your actual work. It's burning people out. So having this educational program, you can give employee what tool is right for them and their profession. Something which works for marketing might not work for finance. So how this tool will be helping them, and then they can utilize by themselves. So you making this decision based on your own experience, based on your own data, saying, hey, AI is helping me or it's not actually helping me. So this way people feel more comfortable and see that company is investing time in me, giving me education so that I can be better. And that gives them that sense of satisfaction or security, saying my job is not going to be cut out here. They want me to grow. They want me to be better. So these twofold solution helps a lot in companies for adoption.
I mean, and for the companies that are doing this, the leadership are making these decisions. And I mean, you're helping those leadership individuals figure out how to make these kind of programs or to, initiate these kind of programs, if you will. So you work with like adaptive leadership. And so can you explain what adaptive leadership is, and not just like by definition, like what is adaptive leadership and how do you practice that? How are people doing that?
Actually, what you've asked me is my experience also. I didn't know actual theory behind the adaptive leadership. So my leadership style has been developed based on my experience working into this high complex environment, and which is over evolving and has a high risk associated with the high impact. So with that, I have certain key sets in my bag where I feel like this has helped me a lot and consistently in this different industry and different environment to be successful. Then later, when people will keep on asking me, what is the adaptive, what are your leadership styles? And I said, okay, I need to focus and give us some definition around it. I stumbled upon the data from the Harvard professor who has created this adaptive leadership for specific environment like mine, where you do not have a cookie cutter solution, where you're working a lot in uncertainty, where it's not just a pure product launch and you just gone out to your own world. So this is a different kind of leadership, and these environment have you make decision. Mine aligns a lot with them, but I have my own tool set. So that's, I think, so perfectly helpful for answering your question. Couple of skill sets which I heavily rely on to, which I call on a communication side is like emotional and intelligent based communication, in which one of the skills which I have worked a lot and I'm super proud of is active listening without biases. That's helped me in understanding people in cross-cultural and global environment and paying attention to people without having that biases, because I'm analytical by nature, working a lot on a strategy. Data is always in my mind, but a lot of time those data create a lot of biases in your head too. So when you're having a conversation or when you're trying to solve a conflict or trying to find a negotiation, you want to keep those biases out and pay attention to the person what they are talking. That listening has helped me a lot into understanding what people are not able to convey in big meetings. I'm working on road mapping, and I have one of the team member could not speak in front of the CEO because he was not comfortable. He was introvert and did not feel as this the right place to talk about me. But I could paying attention to his body language. I set a time with him outside on a one-on-one basis, and I say, hey, freely tell me what you were thinking. I want to learn more about what was your thinking about this road mapping process. And he actually explained it to me, saying why the previous products were not working in his team, because team were not open to the changes. It's not the product was not right, it's the team environment was not right to adopt to those changes. And having that background helped me a lot to build that roadmap. So I feel like active listening without the biases is so super important. A lot of conversation around that I have it with people as they understand listening with acknowledging or agreeing, and that's not the similar. Listening to Rachael doesn't mean I agree with what Rachael is saying. Listening means I'm paying attention to and I'm getting the data which I needed to. Then I will look into my process and come up with the solution based on what I feel is the right. But at least listening to Rachael, now I can give her data-driven information why I'm not making the decision which Rachael wanted to be. So that's a lot of that conversation happening around active listening. Second is that adaptability and agility, which in AI is so important because AI is evolving so quickly, so fast. You don't know what is the 3 months product looks like for you. Yeah. So important having that adaptability, saying, hey, something is going to be changing. So I need to be agile in my approach. I cannot make a 5-year plan right now. Neither I wanted to make, I've heard with so many companies doing a quarterly planning. That's also not helpful. You need to have your yearly vision and needs to have small insights or small MVCs where you say, I'm going to be working on that and see what the results comes out to be. And you need to be agile if something better comes in. You do not have to be invested into something which you have already started in. So if some products, your competitor has come up with a better version of it, and you can leverage that to improve your business, why not to jump onto that rather than spending time and energy and resources into building something your own? So having that mindset of adaptability and agility helps a lot in AI environment or any kind of a fast-paced, uncertain environment you're working on. The skills are super helpful. And last one is continuous learning. I know I believe in that learning ability that's started with our original conversation. You have asked me how I came to about AI, because that's my approach. Is I would love to learn everything. That childlike curiosity helps you to grow. It doesn't feel like a burden on me saying, and now I have to learn AI. Now I have to think differently. No, I'm excited about it. What is AI going to bring it to my life? Let's work on it. How I can use this technology to make it life better. So carving the time for learning is so super important for any kind of a leader. I know we are juggling a lot of personal and professional life, and time is so limited. But for me, I spend certain hours in my week just on learning new technologies, learning new concepts, even learning new skills. That's something I keep on doing to keep myself relevant, and that helps me in my adaptive leadership.
I mean, and when you're talking about adaptability too, I just think that's something, all of the things that you've talked about and like your 4 pillars there, it takes time to figure out like what those are in your leadership style. I feel like a lot of times you start off your entry level, like you're doing your thing. You've had like leadership positions in college or high school, but you've not really been a leader. You're not leading an organization. Like there's no money at risk or people's jobs and livelihoods at risk yet. And then when you become a manager or you step into any kind of leadership role, a lot of times there's no direction. You're tossed into it with like, hey, you've got this much of a headcount and this much of a budget, and you kind of got to figure it out as you go. And you're unfortunately halfway experimenting with those that are now going to report to you. But I think you have to be adaptable, like you were saying, to how you're actually going to form your leadership style and what's going to be happening. Like when you realize you're data focused and you're going to have those unconscious biases because of that. So you need to hone in on listening and doing that. And I think that that's something that we should all be thinking about, is like having that adaptability. It's going to help you not just transform your leadership style. It might help you just figure out what your leadership style is. For anyone who's listening who doesn't have one, I didn't have one when I started out. I got a head count and I got a bunch of money, and they're like, go. And I'm like, go what? Do what? Wait, what? You want me to I've never managed anybody. You want me to, all right, I'm going to figure, I don't know. Like, am I an open door policy kind of gal? Do I micromanage? I don't know. I was like, and I had to figure it out. And then those things that came out because of my personality or the unconscious biases, I was like, I had to like hone and change and adopt and like make different to figure out like what my actual style was going to be.
Exactly. This is a combination of a lot of leadership. So in a way, you can see a lot of thought leadership comes up when I'm talking about strategy, when I'm talking about technologies. That's where my expertise comes in. There is a form of servant leadership comes in because I'm helping to people to collaborate together. Your active listening without bias a lot of time would cover up under servant leadership. There are a different blend of different leadership here. And it's you need to choose that freedom, saying right now is this time. As you have said it, it's like, this is the time where I want to experience myself. And above all, you being authentic to yourself. Being authentic a lot of time goes in 2 ways. If your authentic self is not to bring a game into the organization, then that no organization would want or no team would like to have it. But being authentic leadership, one needs to understand, is to bring your personality. If you are an introvert, if you are extrovert, what that means in your work life. If you want to move forward in your leadership, where you want to have a people management and you are introvert, how I can still be authentic to myself, but still be that people leader. So people needs to understand that where the authentic leadership is. And that's again, that adaptability. I am an introvert, but still I want to be a people leader. How I can adapt to this new environment, how I can make people understand where I'm coming from and still lead it. Because at the end, you are capable to do that.
And I mean, we're going to keep on the subject of adaptability, but when we're adapting and trying to figure out our leadership here, what kind of skills, I got human skills, like what kind of straight from a human being skills do you think that we need to really hone in on to be more valuable for our current jobs, for jobs in the future, as AI advances?
Couple of things for especially when you're talking about AI advances. One, I tell every leader is your ability to take risk. If you want to be working in that innovation world, if you want to be creative, if you want to be in an AI world where you want to work continuously in that and come out as an expert, I would highly recommend to take a risk, because innovation never expands without taking the risk. But that's in a personal life, professional life. I'm working on forward thinking strategies. My first question to leadership is, what is your risk tolerance look like? Because no innovation can happen with zero risk tolerance. Risk tolerance does not mean that I'm going to be spending money and budget unplanned. No, there is always strategy involved. But again, it's a lot of unknown in innovation world, in a creative solution. So you don't know what's going to happen next. So I'm going to make a calculated risk on it. But for me, is that taking that risk, taking that first step forward. So that goes into our professional life also. If I want to be a leader, I want to see myself growing in my career, I need to take the risk. I need to take time to understand how AI is working. I need to experiment with AI to see how it involves and improves my work and what is right and wrong. Because there is a lot of data going into AI. Where working in AI, it's not still at that perfect level where you can just plug it into your businesses and it will give you the results you want to. There's a lot of human intervention is needed. There is a lot of data validation is needed. But how you can continuously grow with that, that's the risk you have to take it on yourself, on your career, and your personal and professional life. So I feel like risk-taking ability is so important. And not stopping because you failed at once. Because when you take a risk, the other concern we have it is fear of failure. All of a human, we do not take a lot of step forward is because that fear of failure. Don't take failure as in something I'm doing wrong.
Failure is a privilege. It's a privilege to fail.
Yeah.
You got to try.
Yes, absolutely. So you are a risk taker. You have taken a risk and you fail. Learn from it. For me, my failures are learning opportunities. They are insight for me what to do, what not to do next, and what to do other time. I want to fail, but I don't want to repeat the same mistake again. That's the philosophy. If you embody it in yourself, will help you to grow in any industry, in any career of your life. So I feel like that's one of the things which helps me to be adaptable. Other thing is, it's okay to change your path. A lot of time, even we set up priorities for ourselves that for next year, we are in that resolution time right now. So everybody has
I'm doing all my goals. We're doing all the things.
Exactly. So you have your personal goals, you have your professional goals are going to be set right now. And every time there are set goals, we have set it for next year. But next year, we don't know what's going to happen. If your priority is to learn a lot about AI, and I need to carve certain times about AI, and then you have other more priorities, make sure your prioritization has good amount of information and it's only 3 to 5 priority for a year. A lot of time people have 10 high priorities and that becomes really trickier to navigate. So make priority mindfully. And then secondly is, if anything changes, give yourself permission to change yourself. Adaptability happens if I'm adapted to a new things. It's okay to change it because you have unforeseen situation happen in your family life or in your personal life, which makes you change your priority. Now you have to give more time to your family rather than your professional career. So I might have to take a step back into it. It's okay to take a change. It's okay. Give yourself permission to be that adaptable. The more you practice on it, it's more workable for you. And that's the same way in professional life too. I'm going for a product launch. I did it one feature very correctly and my next priority is this feature in product launch. But environment changes. Some political policies has changed which will not allow me to launch this feature next year. Obviously, then I'm going to change my priority. What works best in that environment? So I give myself permission and educate my leaders to do the same, saying now this is what it shows. Like, because of these policies, we can't go and launch this product. So we have to launch new feature, which will help us still getting this amount of revenue, still getting this amount of operational efficiency. When you give that information, things so most of the leader understand and allows you to make that change because it's something which was unforeseen. So having a risk and risk mitigation policies makes you more adaptable to new environment.
I mean, and with all of that, how do you, I guess, no, rephrasing, what is exciting you the most about the future of leadership? Like, how do you see this coming about? And what's like really got you excited, not just with AI, but in general, like there's going to be more emerging technology that's coming out?
Yeah, what I'm most excited about the emerging technologies, including AI, quantum computing, is how we are going to be using this to make human life better. Because the use cases which we are talking right now, it's a lot about, okay, I have improved the operational efficiency by 20%. I have plugged in this feature here and I'm able to get the time back. So how we are using this time to make our life better. Because that's the leadership right now is talking a lot. Now we're going to be having more time in our life, what we are going to be spending upon. Are you spending more time on to watching more reels, or are we spending that time to be more productive? And what that productive will looks like is that productivity is to have more connection with humans so that you collaborate with your team. You go outside and have a conversation and understand each other so that we can work better together. Or for some, it might be using this additional time to hone into my product so that my consumer can get more better products. And some of the higher level situation is there are so many so many problems we are having at a human level, healthcare wise. There are so many diseases not been identified at earlier stages. How we will be able to use this technology to identify so that our family members, your loved ones would be getting this diagnosis so quickly and can be improved upon so quickly. That's where I wanted to see that great improvement in our health, in our personal life, and to grow that human system so well. That's what I'm most excited about.
I love that. I mean, and I think that no matter the technology is going to keep growing, it's going to keep doing, and for each of our industries, but as humanity as a whole, like you said, I think what we're going to be able to see, like AI could help bring a totally new perspective and help the scientists that have been working so hard to cure cancer. We could solve some world mysteries, so many things that could be done because it's taking so many different human perspectives that we have inputted into it. And it might feed us something that we weren't able to get on an individual level.
I mean, human level, I've been seeing so many examples. Some of them are already coming is companies are able to create a virtual human. So imagine people going through depression, loneliness, how this will help them to communicate and talk. Because these problems are so difficult a lot of time to handle and understand. A system would be more empathetic. That's going to be something I'm excited to see about. It's like how we can make every human life better at a higher level would be something I'm most excited about.
No, I love that. Well, we're wrapping up here, so I would like to ask one final question that I do to all of my guests. But if you could give one piece of advice to your 16-year-old self, what would that be?
Wow. That's a great question.
Right? Different girl. Different girls.
I would give myself an advice as a 16-year is work more on clarity rather than productivity. Clarity is, I feel like having clarity in your decision, having clarity in what you want to move forward in, and use more data-driven decision rather than what being bombarded to you or what looks shinier at the front. Yeah. I feel like these two advices, I will give it to myself when I was 16-year-old.
I love that. But I mean, we need that nowadays today. I feel like everything's shiny and coming at us at all times. So we should be looking at it from a data-driven point of view of how we make decisions.
I was not as strategic at 16-year-old. So I feel like...
For any of us, I would love to meet a strategic 16-year-old even today. Like, please come on out and raise your hand. That would be phenomenal. I would love to know who that is and learn more about you. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Rupali. Please tell everybody where they can find you for your adaptive leadership and your strategies so that way they know if they are going to bring you on with their organization, which I think everyone should be able to do.
Thank you, Rachel. I really enjoyed this conversation. It was really fun. I would say everybody can reach out to me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn handle is Rupali Kumbani, my first name and last name. I'm excited to know how you're using emerging technologies and what are the challenges you are facing in vision, in strategy, and in execution. Feel free to reach out to me. Would love to have a conversation with you.
Awesome. Everyone make sure to follow her on LinkedIn and give her a shout out, especially nowadays when we're all using AI. Let her know how you're using it. And we will see you all next week. Thank you so much.